Meanwhile, here's what the Democrats are doing on their way out. Joe Biden is now moving to forgive $4.7 billion of loans to Ukraine. We all saw that coming. Not a big surprise, but they've now moved to forgive that loan, said Matthew Miller, Department of State spokesperson. A funding bill passed by Congress in April included $9.4 billion of forgivable loans, and that has now happened. The bill appropriated a total of $61 billion to help Ukraine. We have taken the step that was outlined to cancel those loans. Congress could still block the move. We'll see if they do. I doubt it. Who's going to block it? Mitch McConnell? The Senate is due to vote later on this week, Wednesday, on a motion of disapproval. We'll see if that develops. Joe Biden has ordered officials to rush as much aid to Ukraine as possible, including ATACMS and other escalatory mines and more. And so we'll keep our eye on that. Now, meanwhile, we're waiting for more Trump appointments. And one person who's being reported on the list is Mike Rogers. Now, I was looking through some of Mike Rogers' old tweet posts at the time, and did not like what I saw about what Mike Rogers was saying about Russia in 2000, about insurrection in 2021, about FISA and all the other things. And basically on the opposite side of every single thing that we've covered here. So that makes me nervous if his name is at the forefront on the top of this list. And we've made this point before, been a little bit concerned that Trump might be off and askew with the FBI, given the fact that he said we're going to build him a big, beautiful building and all those things. And if Mike Rogers is coming in at the top of the helm, that might confirm that. Now, there might be a conciliatory prize, a consolation prize, that Kash Patel would be the deputy AG. Okay, is that good enough? Here's this report from Caitlin Collins. Now, it's just rumors, hasn't happened yet. And we don't know if Trump's actually going to name an FBI director before he takes office, or whether he'll wait and see what Christopher Wray decides to do, whether he'll resign or he'll ask for his resignation or what. But here is this report from CNN. This is what they're hearing.
I'm hearing that one idea being floated now is Trump naming Mike Rogers, a former FBI special agent and former Michigan congressman who recently ran for Senate, as the FBI director, while also putting in Kash Patel, who is a controversial MAGA loyalist, as the deputy FBI director. That would be an attempt to please both camps. Of course, nothing on that front is final until it is posted on Truth Social.
And that has not happened yet, but we're waiting to see. Is Trump going to post something Friday? Might be a good day to do it. So Mike Rogers would not be ideal based on what we've seen of his prior posts. Now, people's opinions shift and they grow and they develop, but we'll see if that has happened with him. Now, Elon also joined forces with Vivek, and they posted this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. They're talking about how Doge is going to reform the government. And they wrote this together, Elon and Vivek. They said this: our nation was founded on the basic idea that the people we elect run the government, all right? That's not how America functions today. Most legal edicts aren't laws enacted by Congress. This is what we've talked about so much here. They are rules and regulations, the CFRs, the Code of Federal Regulations, or what we've talked about in the election cases, where the legislature will say, you have to do these things. And then Jocelyn Benson says, no, in the rules and the manual, right, the regs, which she gets to develop, they change it and say initial presumption of validity for signature checking, which means you're not checking anything. They change it. They're promulgated by unelected bureaucrats. Now, Jocelyn is elected, but her team is not. Tens of thousands of them each year. And Jocelyn's not writing those regulations, okay? Other people are, and she's just executing them. Most government enforcement decisions and discretionary expenditures aren't made by the democratically elected president or even his appointees. They are unappointed people. This is anti-democratic and antithetical to the founders' vision for the country. There's a massive direct and indirect cost on everyone. Thankfully, we have an opportunity to solve this, and we're going to do it. Trump has asked the two of us to lead the Doge team to cut the federal government down to size. The entrenched and ever-growing bureaucracy represents an existential threat to our republic, and politicians have done nothing for far too long. We're entrepreneurs. We're going to cut the costs. We're assisting the Trump transition team to identify and hire a team of small government crusaders, including some of the sharpest and technical and legal minds in America. This team will work in the new administration closely with the White House. The two of us will advise Doge at every step to pursue three major kinds of reform. regulatory rescissions, administrative reductions, and cost savings. We will focus particularly on driving change through executive action based on existing legislation rather than by passing new laws, so they can just act now. Our North Star will be the U.S. Constitution. Let's go! With a focus on two critical Supreme Court rulings issued during President's tenure. The EPA case, the justices held that agencies can't impose regulations dealing with major economic issues unless Congress says so. And in Loperbright versus Raimondo, the court overturned the Chevron doctrine and held that federal courts should no longer defer to federal agencies' interpretations and their own rulemaking authorities, right? So if an institution just says, we pass this rule and we're good at what we do, the courts were deferring to them. Not anymore. Together, these cases, which are brand new to 2022 and 2024, suggest that the current federal regulations exceed the authority that Congress has granted them. And so we're going to work with legal experts. We're going to use advanced technology. We're going to apply these federal regulations to these agencies. We're going to take this list to President Trump and we're going to see what he says. We're going to liberate individuals and businesses from illicit regulations that were never passed by Congress. And that alone is going to stimulate the U.S. economy. And when President Trump nullifies these things, critics are going to come out and scream. They're going to say, executive overreach, you can't do this. Wrong. In fact, it will be correcting the executive overreach of thousands of regulations promulgated that were never authorized. The president owes lawmaking deference to Congress, not to bureaucrats. He's giving Congress the power back, giving it up from the executive branch, which has taken it and gobbled it up into the institutions that they run. A drastic reduction in these regulations is logical, and we're going to be embedded everywhere. The goal is to help the people who are going to be removed from the federal teat and help them transition into the private sector. There will be existing laws. There'll be incentives for early retirement. There's going to be voluntary severance payments, and it's going to be a graceful exit. Now, conventional wisdom holds that statutory civil service protections stop the president from doing any of this, citing different cases. But Trump is going to use his authority under these cases to reallocate and to commit to large-scale firings and relocations in the Washington area, out of the Washington area. And finally, we're focused on delivering cost savings for taxpayers as well. We're going to use the Impoundment Control Act. And even without that, we're authorized to eliminate unauthorized expenditures to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. $1.5 billion for international organizations, including groups like Planned Parenthood. The procurement process is broken. No one knows where the $800 billion budget is going. We've got a decisive mandate, 6-3 conservative majority. We've got an opportunity here for DOGE to really do something amazing. Our top goal for DOGE is to eliminate the need for the DOGE existence by July 4th, 2026. The expiration date we have set for our project. No better birthday gift to our nation on its 50th anniversary than to deliver a federal government that would make our founders proud. From Elon and Vivek. And so we're excited to see where that goes. Nice article from those two. If they are even 30% successful, it's going to be a historic accomplishment because the federal government is so insulated and calcified that causing a contraction of any amount, 1% contraction of the federal government, will be like launching a rocket to Mars. That's how Herculean of an effort this is going to take. And these guys can do it. We're here for it. All right.